Okay.
Hope you're here with your pen to sign for your $1,000.
Power.
I get blue, I get red. Any color
way
way you want me
you know how
to
much
sign
I
with.
used to buy tickets.
We no can't do that. You never do that thing when we talk. Commissioner of Works ability be name.
Okay, Ruben, and it was around. And this night might pay me.
Adu, now we live? Yes. Okay. So, just coming in again, and we are live on, let me be sure. No, so, does it show we're live? I don't think it's showing that we're live. Is it? Okay. It says, let's check this. It says we're live. Okay, great. All right, so now that we know we're live, we're back, and I'm here in the studio with Taiwo Akerile, founder, Policy House, executive director, and founder, Policy House. I know you always don't want to be called founder, you just want to do the ED thing. And of course, I have with us Oludaisi, Promad Foundation founder and founder of the Daily Agent, who is here today with us at the Octagon 2 Situation Analysis Studio. Of course, we cannot do this without the support of the Nigerian Youth Future Fund, and of course the LIPA Africa and the MacArthur Foundation and Ford Foundation. We really want to say a big thank you, because I mean the work, the investment has gone into massive voter mobilization, a lot of voter education, peace building activities across all the LGAs in the 3 states. And now today we are, it's D-Day, election in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo currently happening, and we are reaching you live from our studio at the Octagon 2 Situation Room, which is now open for a lot of analysis. And I'm here again, like I said, with Taiwo Akerile, Executive Director, Policy House, who's going to be analyzing a lot of what has happened today from the policy angle. And we have Oludaisi, who is a fact checker, helping us to, sort of make sense of most of the information that have been coming in. For me, my name is God Bless Utubore, Global President at ReadyToLeadAfrica. We are just doing the questioning today, of course. It's just going to be back and forth. We'll look at what progress are we making in terms of civic education, civic participation, the conduct of elections. Are we making progress? Are we taking 3 steps forward, 9 steps backward, or what it is? So let me just, maybe your first words, even as you are now in the studio.
Thank you very much, God bless. I really appreciate you for having me in this very beautiful studio today.
Okay.
To support the electoral process and to see what we can do to enrich the transparency of the election. We have some framework that will guide us in analysis. We have the Nigerian Constitution, we have the Electoral Act, we have the INEC guidelines. Those are the tools for analysis, and of course the existing institutional frameworks that will support a transparently conducted electoral process. Thank you for having me again.
All right, that's it.
All right, God bless. I'm happy to be here this afternoon, and it's a work for the Nigerian state, and we'll continue to do our bit. And I'm here this afternoon on the platform of Daily Agent Check. It's a fact-checking arm of Daily Agent. And we started Daily Agent Check because we know that during elections, talking about before, during, and after election periods, there are issues of misinformation and fake news. And fake news that happens in all of these processes. Then it is very important and vital to ensure that we actually ensure that right information flows on our platforms, talking about the internet space, because if we don't guide the integrity of information that comes out, at the end of the day, we might set some communities ablaze because of fake news and misinformation. So that is why we are doing this, and I'm happy that Ready to Lead Africa has partnered with us on this, and to be able to ensure that we promote integrity of the process.
All right, thank you so much. I mean, if you, our phones are buzzing. We have the Octagon Situation Room where the data clerks are just right behind us. A lot of information coming in, of course, on WhatsApp and on Twitter. For the last 1 month, there's been a lot of investment on the part of donor agencies, CSOs, working to ensure that there is peaceful election. Of course, in the last 1 week, there's been signing of the peace accord. Yeah. You know, we've engaged a lot of candidates to sign the peace accord and all of that. How do you think the impact of that, looking at some of the verified news now coming in from Kogi, why do we still have violence in our elections? Why do we still have it?
Okay, so for me, I've always argued, God bless, thank you for that question. I've always argued that, you see, no matter the number of peace accords that we sign ahead of an electoral process or an election, as long as we don't change our culture, as long as we don't change our attitude to elections, take it by all means syndrome, win by all means syndrome attitude, nothing will change significantly. So we need, rather than investing in forcing people to come and sign peace accord, there's need for us to invest in attitudinal change in Africa. Whereas outside of Africa, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, whereas in the world, do people sign peace accord before elections?
Before elections, yeah.
It doesn't happen in the West. Yeah. It doesn't happen in Europe. It doesn't happen in Asia. I want to, you are a fact checker, check. Because people already have confidence that this is an election. I just go there, vote, and go home. Having confidence that the result will be what it is, and nobody's going to change it. So you can imagine the level of investment of our development partners to ensure that politicians sign peace accord, but in the final analysis, everything collapses. Even as early as 8 a.m., we started hearing incidences of ballot snatching, people are being shot, and all of that. So there's need for us to rather invest and channel our resources into behavioral change. And there must be leadership. The president must lead, the INEC must derive their inspiration from the political leadership of the country. If there's no leadership around, attitudinal change before elections settle, then anybody, there will continue to be this, the situation we find ourselves. So for me, in our engagement with our development partners, we must invest more in orientation. We must invest more in people having, confidence in the electoral process.
I hear you on that, Mr. Taiwo. Yeah. In my position, I actually think that, because if you look at the impact of the peace accord since 2011, where the elections that brought Goodluck in, and the crisis that ensued, the impact of the peace accord has been positive, to be really honest. Has been positive.
As a percentage of the total.
Yes, as a percentage of the total, because remember, the peace accord is not only about election day violence, it's also about pre and post. Right? It's not just about, D-Day election crisis, it's about the post. If you look at post-election violence, since the peace accord became really widespread and a lot more people have embraced it now, it has reduced, especially with what the Coca Center does, what Ready to Lead Africa does with the Yeva Accord, right? Post-election violence has been minimal. So if you look at the impact of the peace accord, it has not been totally negative. Let me hold it there. I would like for you to also speak to that question. Why do you think we are still witnessing violence in our elections?
Okay. For me, I think it's simple and straightforward.
Okay, what is it?
And the
How
fact,
simple?
and why I say that
Yeah.
is that apart from the percentage of politicians and their stakeholders that have decided that they will cause violence and mayhem during elections, there are also the other part that is fueling violence during election, and it's fake news and misinformation.
Just as we were talking, I just got, information from some of our people on ground in our local government, where, what's the time now? It's after 2.
It's after 2.
Where some election result has come in from what 04 PU 001, where APC is said to have gotten 558 votes, LP 34, PDP 29.
Okay.
So how do we verify that this is genuine?
This is genuine,
This
yeah.
is a genuine result
coming from.
It's okay.
Let me say this to the people who are tuning in and watching right now, and those who will see this later. The reason you see us use our phones, and he can just, is because this is a different kind of situation room or a studio. We're not bound by the laws of traditional media. Here we are telling you what is happening based off on what we're getting on the ground. So from time to time, you can see Dicey might just say, okay, so I have information. So if you see Dicey speaking and Mr. Taiwo is on the phone, don't think we are disrespecting Dicey and we're not listening. No, it's because the conversation is, we're analyzing and we're also giving feedback from what is happening on the ground. So I just wanted to pull that.
It's a non-conventional conversation.
Non-conventional conversation, absolutely. This is a conversation different from, I don't know. Okay, so we didn't say that.
So let me continue. So
Yeah.
when you see the fact that maybe a news just came in, purportedly not from the established media organization or the media organizations that we know, or even civil society, maybe from just one person. So at the point of sharing that news, the person who is getting it will now feel, if it's on the other side of the divide, will now say, okay, so this result has been done in our own local government. No, I will not agree to this. Before you know it, they begin to bring other actors in the violence space together and to go and cause issues. So when you share wrong information, it fuels violence during elections.
Yeah, right.
So I want to tell our audience and our viewers that especially the issues of result in any election, wait for INEC declaration before you react on any election, on any result that is sent to your phone. Wait for INEC to declare the official results.
Okay. And I think you wanted to border on that.
Yes, I agree with you that in my introductory remarks, I had alluded to the fact that our framework of analysis is, as a policy analyst, I bank on Nigerian Constitution, I bank on and I rely on the Electoral Act as amended, and of course I also rely on the existing electoral framework or guidelines that has been regularly issued by INEC. As we go into this 3 off-cycle election, what are our expectations? Are we expecting INEC to build on their successes that they recorded in the 2023 election? Are we expecting a more robust ICT platform that will help deliver a transparent result? Are we expecting a much more, neutral electoral umpire? Are we expecting a robust security architecture that will ensure sanctity of the result and the electoral process? How do we build the citizens to have confidence in the electoral process itself? For example, shortly before we came to the studio, we heard that there's a particular polling unit that is completely deserted in Imo.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's part of the feedback we've gotten from our officers on the field.
Correct.
That a particular unit has been completely deserted. and people are going to show interest in that particular unit to ensure that there is no result, except the situation changes. So INEC should ensure that such a polling unit is followed to ensure that no result comes in.
Correct.
At the end of the day,
Yeah,
if it's 100 people out of 1,000, we expect that it is the 100 people who actually voted, not more, not less. That way, there will be a synchronization of the reality versus the output.
Correct.
The input right now is that 90% of people didn't turn out. So we don't expect 90% result turnout instead of 10%. So these are some of the issues that we guide and build the confidence of the people on the electoral process. Then we've also heard, whether formally or informally, that some people have been shot in Kogi. So
that's correct.
how do the security people react? How do they respond so that it doesn't spiral into, what's it called, additional...
So I would like to ask him about the fact-checking for the shooting, because one of the things we've noticed is that
sometimes
videos from old videos surface, from past or maybe unrelated, go ahead.
So let me also add to it that in violence during elections, also being fueled by a misbehavior of security officers. For instance, they're supposed to be at the polling unit to ensure orderliness and that things go well. But at the end of the day, when you see the security officer maybe supporting or behaving in a way that supports
the other candidate, you see that
at the end of the day, the people who are not being supported will feel want to fight back.
Of course.
So at the end of the day, when you now shoot one person, so expect that reactions will come.
Absolutely.
So these are the issues that we also need not to forget. That these can lead to violence. Yes.
Well.
The other part is that the issues of all these fake videos or videos from past elections being pulled up. There is a way. I'm collating some of these videos already.
Correct.
There's a tool that we can use to check, to verify the time that the video surfaced online.
I wanted to stop you there, babe. I wanted to stop you there and just say that for our viewers, the data that we got from the field, because it's important that what we're doing is driven by data, and that is what Follow the Result is about. Follow the Result is, what we're doing with Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo is that we're not only following the results, we're following the process, looking vis-a-vis the Electoral Act 2022. Because what we're not doing is that we've deployed citizen observers, we've deployed LGA Collation Center observers, and we've deployed State Collation Center observers. Now, the reason is because we're following the results to ensure that we have the capacity to say, this is what we saw that was shared by our people that are accredited by INEC, and this is, if something different is shown. Our research, not research, our data that came in from the field, because of the deployment we've done, show that polling centers opened earlier in Kogi than in Bayelsa and Imo. We have more, polling centers opening quicker and earlier in Kogi, and some polling units opened at 10 in Imo, and 10 in, of course, INEC guidelines says polling units should open at 8:30, right? That's when voting starts and closes at 2 p.m. So if you now have polling units not opening at the time it's supposed to open, a polling unit is supposed to then close at the time where, but it's important that we give that statistics to our viewers so you understand that in terms of the arrival checklist that we've also, part of what we're observing in the process, there's been quicker, opening of the polls in Kogi than in Bayelsa and Imo. I wanted to come to, the reason I wanted to just stop you there was because we haven't got into the part where we are talking about those videos, because we're still dealing with why are elections still violent. He said something about the peace accord is not enough. Attitudinal change, we need to invest in that. Of course, I did say that the peace accord has been also very supportive of peace building during the process. And you talked about the prevalence of fake news as part of the reason for violence and what have you.
Then misbehavior.
And of course, you talked about the complicity, the purported complicity of security officials.
Then the issue of some INEC officials
who are also not doing
or
the right
not following
thing.
the guidelines
Correct.
laid by the INEC.
Correct. So now, what I'm trying to now understand from the both of you as we analyze this is, where do we go from here? Who should get it right? Is it INEC, politicians, or the people? Who should get it right?
Okay, so let me come in, because it's a basket of responsibilities. It's a basket, and every stakeholder has a part and a role to play in each of the functionality that leads to a transparently conducted election.
Correct.
From citizens to the electoral umpire, to the government that funds, to the security agencies, to all the stakeholders, including international observers, and of course, analysts like you, civil society groups. Everybody has a role to play. So we're not going to sit down here and put the responsibility 100% on a particular stakeholder. So you talked about follow the process. You've always hammered on the issue of following the process. In following the process, you look at how does the Electoral Act apportion responsibility, and how are all these responsibilities be discharged. That is how to know the efficiency of every stakeholder, and that is how you will now know who is at fault and who is supposed to deliver on what. So what is my terms of reference as a citizen, as a voter? What is my role?
The crisis, however, is this. Taiwo, it's like we know that different stakeholders have dropped the ball at different times. What I find troubling is who is responsible for accountability. If INEC messes up, who is responsible for INEC's accountability? When the police messes up, who is responsible for the police accountability? When the citizens mess up, who is responsible for the citizens' accountability?
This is the issue. And it's a question that you have asked.
Yes.
So, and that's why people always say, somebody's head must roll. If a particular ball is dropped at a particular process or at a particular time, who takes responsibility?
Who?
That is why I said it's a basket of functionalities. For example, who should take responsibility if I mess up as a voter? It is the job of the security agency.
Of the police, right? Of the police. To take charge of the
violent.
But when the police now messes up, who should take care of the police?
These are the issues.
Who should take care of the police?
At that point,
So
I think
maybe the police disciplinary committee, the police commission.
Yes, they have
monitoring of
they have that.
Who messes up during the electoral
They have a process to report that incident. Because if it is not reported,
it cannot be dealt.
It cannot be dealt with. Even the people that are supposed to deal with that situation will not be aware.
So we seem not to have compromised on the responsibility.
So I feel that the media and the CSO have this role.
No, okay, so
that is why we must have more of these media organizations and CSO to monitor all of these processes and raise alarm. So, because if we don't report what is going on, even the people that are supposed to deal with the situation will not be aware.
How about cases where they say we've reported, we've raised alarm, and nothing happened?
It goes beyond just reporting. There has to be a follow-up. Most of the time in this country, people report cases, and maybe because of the slow nature of our legal system, people are discouraged.
You're absorbing others of their responsibility by telling somebody who has taken the first step, which is actually the only step. Because if, let me give an example. Let's assume you're a victim of a
a crime situation,
or let's say somebody bash your car, or of oppression, right? Somebody hits your car and rams into you, and then you have a comprehensive insurance policy that says if you are involved in an accident, right, we would fix your car. And then you've done your responsibility, your part of the responsibility is to call the insurance company, report the case, give them all the necessary information, and submit your document. They will come and do their stuff. Oh, wait, let me not go there. After doing your bit, are you supposed to be the one to ensure that the insurance company pays you, or it's supposed to be like a system since you've done your part and they should do their part? Because if you're saying citizens who raise alarm, like now, look at my phone is buzzing. A lot from Imo, from Kogi, from Bayelsa, a lot of information coming up. Now we've seen, okay, let's look at it. You, fact checker, you have told us here that most of the cases of pre-filled voting material is mostly true. Nobody has been arrested.
Yes. What I reacted to the situation by saying, yes, this issues has been reported to
Correct.
them, and we are taking action, and that very soon we will make out. We'll make known.
So let us see what INEC does.
So
right? Okay, great. That's fine. Yeah. So let's go a little bit further on this issue. Now, I think clearly that all of this conversation is flying through the head of Gen Z. How do we tell that demographic that they can understand this process and engage in it in a way that they can see the desired results that they have in their that they envisage? How can we get these conversations to Gen Z? I would come to you now and say, how do you get this conversation to the Gen Zs so that they are interested in the process, moving forward?
It's difficult to get the Gen Z generation to be interested in a process that they feel has not delivered
Correct.
in terms of integrity.
Correct.
So we need to demonstrate that this is going to be a different situation, particularly in view of where we are coming from.
Correct.
INEC has been accused by stakeholders of not being able to do things in the way that everybody expected. Of course, a lot disagree with such arguments in any event. So INEC has to go extra mile to get get the confidence of the Gen Z generation. The election has to be seen to be transparent. The process leading to the election itself has to be seen to be transparent. And what you promise in terms of transmission of results, in terms of the deployment of officers, deployment of technology, deployment of even security apparatus has to be transparently done. We thought to get the Gen Z generation to buy or have confidence. And secondly, how do we, if there's no violence, if we eliminate violence to the barest minimum, that to say, okay, we have queued up, we have voted, nobody is snatching our ballot papers, results are being counted as advertised, and it is being entered into the from whatever, and it is what we got that is being transmitted, then of course you don't need to invest too much money on propaganda.
Absolutely.
You don't need to invest too much on promises. Just ensure that you do what you say you will do. And that accounts for why everybody was so excited when you guys in the society, in the electoral ecosystem said, achieve that electronic transmission of results.
Electronic transmission.
There was a lot of jubilation worldwide.
Correct.
And I imagine the